It's 1982. I'm married to my wife Susie. We are living in a cottage on a 7-acre farm located in rural Petaluma, California. We heated the place with an airtight wood stove along with a kerosene heater, which worked out very well. The flammable kerosene we kept in one of the barns just a little ways from the cottage. It was a very chilly night, I remember, windy and cold. It was around 9 p.m. Susie headed down to the barn to refill the 2-gallon can with heating oil.
Michael was tired from working all day, so I let him rest while I went to the shed to get the kerosene. It was like really cold outside and we used a kerosene heater to stay warm. I went to the back of the barn behind a tractor where the kerosene was stored when I heard a very strange sound. It sounded like people whispering and mumbling, and there was nobody out there because it's like in the middle of nowhere. I started freaking out. I dropped my can. I ran all the way back up to the house, and I was seriously out of breath, you know, because I was running. And I ran through the door and I started screaming, "Michael, there's something down there in the shed." He asked me what's down there, and all I could tell him is I heard very strange noises. It was really odd. He asked me what kind of noises I heard, and I told him I didn't know, but it sounded like voices, you know, mumbling. He said he was going to go down there and check it out himself, and I begged him not to because I was hoping it wasn't like bad or anything. He didn't listen to me. He decided to check it out for himself anyways. The voices sounded like,
as I already said, it was extremely cold. I didn't want to start a fire right then, so I asked her, "Where's the fuel can?" She told me it was still in the shed. I figured she was imagining things, so against her wishes, I headed down to the shed anyway. I walked down the path in the dark with the flashlight to the shed. Reaching the barn, I headed straight for the back of the tractor, then set up to start pumping kerosene in the can. I first propped the flashlight onto the back of the tractor like I usually did, then using the pump I began filling the can. The plastic container was about half full when I thought I heard something too, so I stopped pumping for a brief moment and listened while the wind howled through the cracks of the building. After not hearing anything for a few seconds, I just figured she's hearing things. There's nothing down there. I don't hear anything else except for the wind. So I continued filling the container. Once reaching the top, I placed the pump back on the wall, put the cap onto the container, then turned the flashlight off. After placing the flashlight into my pocket, then lifting the container, I heard another sound. It was like a high-pitched voice, and I heard it in the wind as it called out. I froze in my spot, who's there? I mean, I'm in the middle of the sticks, there shouldn't be anybody there. I waited a few seconds, then only hearing the wind, I headed toward the front of the tractor. Reaching the exit, I heard the voice call out again, even louder and deeper. I freaked and I ran carrying the full container all the way up the hill back to the house. Once there, I ran inside and locked the door. Why I locked it, I don't know, because I don't think whatever was down there paid much attention to locks. It's just one of those things we as people do. We feel safer behind locked doors. Susie was waiting for me, and seeing me come in, she asked, "What took you so long?" I was worried sick. "You were down there for a while." I told her, "I was only down there a few minutes." Then she told me, "You were down there a lot more than a few minutes, more like about 15 minutes. I've been watching half this program here, and it's a half-hour program. It's halfway through it, so you've been down there longer than 15 minutes. I told her it was impossible. I was only down there maybe at the most 5 minutes.
I was so thankful and so grateful he finally came back because I was worried there was something seriously down there in the shed. He had been gone for 15 minutes. I was watching TV, waiting on his return. And I watched him come in. He said, stay on the kerosene, you know, on the floor. And then I was asking him if he saw or heard anything, because I knew what I heard. And I knew I heard voices in the shed. I knew it wasn't, it wasn't in my imagination.
Susie wanted to know if I heard anything, so I told her that I heard voices in the wind. I said it was very odd because whoever or whatever it was actually called me by my name. I heard it calling Mike. I just found that really bizarre. I later learned from a pastor I knew, and he was a friend of mine, that what I was hearing is called the calling. He told me it's what most men of the cloth hear before they take up the ministry. What's even odder was later in life I was talking to my brother Ron, my older brother, and he was the one I was with when I saw the sphere in the mountain. And he asked me, he says, little brother, aren't you a preacher yet? I asked, why are you asking me that? He said, well, because the thing in the mountains, I know it wasn't for me, it had to be for you. He obviously knew they were after me and not him. He was the one that told me back then he thought the orange sphere was God. So all in all, it actually made sense, him asking.